and welcome to your weekly tarot reading. This will take you from the 7th to the 14th, and I think it's safe to say, Leo, that your emotional world is prominent this week. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 water cards, actually 5 water cards. So half your reading is about your emotional life. This is going to be love or just your own inner emotional life. There's a lot of really healthy emotions going on. At the bottom of the deck, you do have the Six of Swords, okay? The Six of Swords is a transition card. This is moving from one part of your life to another. We'll see if this comes forward again, but there's definitely a feeling of moving forward, okay? The waters are very calm, so this isn't a turbulent journey, but there's a flow. Your crowning card is the King of Swords, so this might be a person, but I think there might be another message from this King of Swords because there's so many emotions. There might be an urge to see the bigger picture, to have that little bit of detachment. Because as a Leo, remember your job is to balance out the heart and the head. It's the Leo Aquarius axis, and balancing out the heart and the head is one of the really big esoteric lessons. So maybe try and keep a little bit detached, a little bit mentally centered. Don't lose your crown, Leo, essentially. So I picked an additional message card for you, and you got the 10 of Cups. So you got the Ace and you've got the 10. Something's happening here. There's some happy completions. There's some sort of transition from where things once were to this much more contentment and much more happiness. And I'm really happy to see that for you, Leo. Now, the first 4 cards, I'm going to try and read together because you've got the King and Queen of Cups right next to each other, which is a little bit outstanding, and it's actually quite profound when you get the King and Queen of the same element, because it speaks of a perfect union. And this isn't with another person, it's something going on within you that you feel this beautiful mixture of nurturing, being kind, being compassionate, but with very healthy boundaries. Because if you see the king sitting on his throne, so he's got his own little bit of a domain, and he can make his choices from a very centered place. For some reason, that's a really big message for you here, because this is the Leo lesson. Heart with the head. And you've got both kings here. Both have their thrones and both have their crowns. Keep as much center as you can, Leo. Basically, keep in your power. Roar if you need to. You've also got the 8 of Swords, okay? So the 8 of Swords does tend to feel a little bit of restriction. This is either going to manifest on the physical plane, so circumstances, it's only a minor arcana, but it can feel like a little bit of frustration. This might be circumstances, or it might be how you're feeling, a little bit in a knot. But you have the King of Swords here. So you have the higher mind that can release you from this. And generally what we need to do, Leo, is we need to get calm. And we need to try and find that little bit of an oasis just to calm, because the 8 of Swords can be quite a hot card. The urge to move forward with a feeling that something's restricting you. So when we get these hot energies, we tend to be talking about impatience, intolerance, those sort of energies. You've got too much mastery this month, this week, Leo, to be dominated by these. But you might have to be mindful, pay attention to what you're feeling and what you're thinking, so you don't fall into that trap. You've also got the Chariot card. So I don't tend to read the Chariot card this way, but because there's so many feelings, because this is the Cancer card, so it talks of a real deep blending of your emotions. And I had to read it that way, which is really unusual for me, but I couldn't help it sticking out. But the Chariot is essentially about forward motion. So you go from the frustration to the movement pretty much automatically, which is really, really, really good to see, guys, that you're not staying in this Eight of Swords energy. Now, I don't mind the Eight of Swords energy because we learn through difficulties, as most of you know, but it's really nice that you're moving back into this emotional flow and the forward motion, because the Chariot and the Six of Swords are very, very similar cards. It's about being in a vehicle and moving forward, okay? Now, we do stay with this theme a little bit between flow and gripping, okay? Because you've got the Four of Discs. This can be about finances, having to hold on to what you've got, your security, that sort of thing. But if you look clearly, he's also guarding his heart, his crown chakra. For some Leos, you might be guarding your feelings, because it's with the Ace of Cups. Now, this has been the theme. You're my third reading, and it's been the theme for everyone. There seems to be a beautiful emotional flow with a deep urge to guard and protect ourselves from our emotions, because our emotions leave us so incredibly vulnerable, Leo. Because what if we're rejected? What if it all goes wrong? So we resist and we protect. Completely normal. It's built within our systems, both to love and both to protect. And we're always having to juggle with both, but the water is the strongest element. It breaks through stone. So whatever's going on for you emotionally, Leo, love is going to win the day. And I don't mean that in a real sentimental way. It's just that water is such a powerful element. And all the rivers run to the sea eventually. So we're all going to this emotional happiness one way or another. And then you end with the Three of Cups. With the Two of Discs, okay, so there's still a little bit of juggling of options, a little bit of uncertainty, not quite sure what to do, okay? Okay, I'm going to say to you, Leo, don't worry about it. I don't know why, but there's almost a feeling of it's okay to put your concerns to the side and to allow yourself to experience these energies. Because love and joy change us from the inside out. They change our fundamental biology. And the most healing force in the world, okay? So you might have a bit of juggling, a little bit of confusion, a little bit of trying to guard yourself, juggling between options. But Leo, one soul to another, go with these cups. Just allow your heart to open, to experience this joy, because it's priceless. You can't buy it. And heaven sent. That is really quite a reading you've got. I think some of the key, because there's so much emotion going on, is the King of Swords. Okay, he's came to you for a reason. I told you your esoteric lesson is to work with Aquarius. King of Swords is the Aquarius card. So take that little bit of a step back. Be in your throne. Have some healthy boundaries. But flow as well, Leo. And if the river wants to take you in a certain direction, as it seems to do, my advice is to go with it. The instinct to protect is not going to go away. And to keep your heart guarded, because we're hardwired that way. But once we start to realise that, we don't have to let it dominate us. We can feel it, and we can still join in this beautiful flow of love. What a reading, Leo. I wish you all the best. My contact details are in the About section. Loads of love. Bye.